Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما أما بعد. Now inshallah we'll be moving to the fiqh aspect and also how to attain those spiritual benefits which I have mentioned before. What is the way that you can attain them? Secondly, also you will be knowing that our Mashaykh has said that there are 7 types of spiritual Hajj you can do. There are 7 levels of Hajj spiritually. Like in the Tazkiyah course, there are 10 spiritual levels of prayers, then there are 7 spiritual levels of Hajj. What you're seeing at the screen, very briefly, you should know by now that 3 faraiz, the 3 farz things in Hajj, that without these the Hajj is not valid at all. So one of them consists of niyat and ihram. One is the standing, the wuquf, staying for some while in Arafah. And also the third one, which is known as the farz tawaf or tawaf-e ziyarat, or actually it is also known as tawaf-e ifada as well. So these are the 3. If you miss them or don't perform them, then your Hajj becomes invalid and you have to do the Hajj again. But then there are some things which are obligatory, wajibats of Hajj. If you miss them, you can still perform the Hajj, but you have to also give some kind of compensation in the form of sadaqah or in the form of a sacrifice, animal sacrifice. So if you miss let's say the sa'i of Safa and Marwa of Hajj, if you don't spend night in Muzdalifah, if you don't stone the jamarat, if you don't shave the head or cut the hair short, or if you miss the farewell, which is like farewell tawaf, means that the last visit or the last tawaf of your when you leave Makkah. So these things, if you miss with one qurbani, with one sacrifice, it can be compensated and your Hajj will be valid. And then there are sunnahs of Hajj we'll be mentioning in detail. So before we begin, just to introduce especially those people who will not be, for example, or have not been there before, they are sometimes unaware of the very basic things of the Kaaba. One is that this is the door of the Kaaba, which the green arrow is pointing. And this is known as the black stone corner, Hajar Aswad, where the stone which came from Jannah and where you begin the tawaf with. It is a sign. The purpose of that was how to know where to begin and end the tawaf. So that actually performs that duty Plus, there are very high virtues of this stone as well. It's as though a person who kisses it, it's as though he has kissed the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's mentioned in the hadith. It is such high value, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given it so much blessings. This small dome which you are seeing, a coverage of golden cover, is called Maqam Ibrahim. That is where the footprints of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam can be seen in there. And also this was the place where Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam prayed, and that's where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed as well. So near that, this is a blessed place. This is known as the Yamani corner. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that whenever I came here, I saw Jibreel alayhi salam standing there. And there are so many angels there saying Ameen all the time there. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to kiss this black stone, and he with his hand in every tawaf and every circle of tawaf, he alayhi salatu wasalam touched this corner as well, Yamani. So if you get opportunity, one can touch it, but if you don't get opportunity, then you just don't actually even sign or with the hand gesture, you don't gesture it with the hand or point it with the hand as well. If you missed it, then you missed it. Just keep on praying a dua and tawaf. These two corners, one of the people, they ask questions sometimes that why is that these two corners Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did istilam, meaning that he touched them both and kissed the Hajar Aswad. The reason is that these are the two corners which are on the foundation of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. So they are the actual foundation of Kaaba. These corners are where Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam put the foundation. The other two corners of the Kaaba are not really the corners of the Kaaba, but they really are just halfway through or 3/4 way through the Kaaba. So they're not the corner of the Kaaba, nor Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam laid the foundation there. The real foundation is which is called the Hatim, the semicircle wall which you see, which is here. It starts from here and then goes on the other side. That was the real foundation which Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam made the Kaaba. So because the mushrikeen, they rebuilt the Kaaba and these foundations, so this corner, they made this corner foundation, and so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't give any significance to it. And the first two corners, Hazrat Ibrahim, they are on the actual foundation of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. So this one, Yamani corner, and this Hajar Aswad corner, they are on the same foundation, they are on the same place. These two corners were not created by Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, but Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam laid foundation further up to here, which is the semicircle wall, small wall you see around the Kaaba, and which is now, it's called Hijr Ismail and also Hatim. This is known as the Iraqi corner. It points towards Iraq. And that corner is known as the Shami corner, which points at Syria. And this corner points toward Yemen, is known as Yamani. Sometimes these two corners, Hajar Aswad, and these two corners are known as the Yamani corners as well. So you've seen that one must purify themselves and do tawbah before they go to Hajj. Otherwise, the person will be going in a very bad state, and the fiyuzat are going to be stopped, and the person will be deprived. I've gone through this. If you go with the clean heart, you return with the love of Allah, the closeness of the Messenger, sallallahu love of the Prophet ﷺ, and relationship with them. You've seen that already. Now I'm going to go through the levels of Umrah and Hajj, spiritual levels. There are almost 7 or 8 levels of spiritual Hajj and Umrah. The more high level of Hajj you do spiritually, the more high level taqwa you are going to receive. So, now, initial level, let's say that you are in your life, taqwa and the closeness of Allah was only up to here. So the first level of Hajj, spiritual level of Hajj which you can do is that if you do the Hajj whilst thinking and believing that your Lord is seeing you, hearing you, present with you, also to observe the tongue and eyes from committing sin. So 2 things you do in the first level, spiritual levels of Hajj. First spiritual level of Hajj is you be in the presence of Allah. So you be in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me, watching me and hearing. Secondly, your tongue and eyes completely observe strict prohibitions and strict restrictions upon them that they don't. Then what is going to happen is after the Hajj, your level of taqwa and change is going to grow higher. Similarly, level 2 is to observe all the sensual organs of the body and to imagine each tunnel which connects the heart to each organ is being blocked with the name of Allah. So here what you do is you abstain from 7 organs, the sins of the 7 organs of the body. So you don't do any sin with the feet, you don't do any sin with the eyes, with the hands, with the private parts and all other organs. And secondly, you imagine that the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there beside the tunnels which connect your heart through the limbs. The diagram I've shown you before. So to believe and feel and use your heart to call your Lord. Imagine when you are performing any acts of worship that your heart is calling your Lord and your heart is being engraved in the name of Allah. So in this level, wherever you are going, in Mina, in Makkah Sharif, wherever you are, it's as though your heart is saying Allah, 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 and that name of Allah is being written on your heart. You imagine the name of Allah is being written on your heart, and you're abstaining from sins of 7 organs. Name of Allah is written in your heart and is blocking the darkness coming into your heart. This mean that the level of taqwa is going to increase even more. Can you see here? So ye hai level 2 and 3, which you have actually heard. Level 4 and 5, to engage level 4, let your mind start poking with your heart and imagine the evil of the mind is disintegrating and turning into the light and remembrance of your Lord. So to engage and let your mind start to talk with your heart with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now you are not only saying Allah, Allah, but the heart is talking to Allah. So it's a continuous, you are eating, you are drinking, you are walking, but there is an internal communication going on as well. And through that light of the name of Allah, the evil in your mind is disintegrating. You're meaning the evil, the darkness in the mind is breaking away. So it's like you are receiving purification of the mind. And level 5, to feel your entire body, mind and soul is calling your Lord and wanting to be truly in the presence of your Lord. So now your whole body is calling your Lord, entire limbs when performing any amals. So in this level 5, it's as though your body, mind and heart and soul is calling your Lord and wanting truly to be in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ये level 5 है. Level 6 and 7, to believe and feel your soul is truly has dominated your body and to be totally annihilated in the love and obedience of your Lord. So in this, it's as though your soul has overtaken now. Your ruh has overtaken your body and is totally annihilated, meaning fana, in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And level 7, now every breath you take and every movement you make, you totally feel the presence of your Lord. Now with every breath and every movement, you feel the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are now totally annihilated and feel and believe every movement is the blessing of your Lord and worship Him with every thought and breath. Your entire body, mind and soul is truly with your Lord. So ye have level 7 here. So before you go, you can decide, for example, this Hajj you are going to do at level 4, level 3, level 2, whichever. Then you stick to it. The more higher the level of Hajj, the more higher the level of closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see here. आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ. You see these are the levels of closeness. So, and these are the different levels of Umrah and Hajj. So if your level is about 2, then it means you will achieve the closeness to here, to about 3. If your level of Hajj is 4, then the closeness of Allah will increase to 10. So the more higher level of spiritual Hajj you do, at the end you will have the higher closeness of Allah and there will be permanent change in you. This is the sheet which you can use and take with you. So those people who are going, they should have this sheet. Everyone should have one sheet. And whichever level they are doing, so people who are going first time, they can, or they are confused or they don't know. At least everyone, they should try to do the level 2, because you're going once in a lifetime. And those people who have been in Umrah and before, they can actually go to the next levels if they have done before the levels. But they should stick to one level and then record so that they can know how many days really they have been doing at that spiritual level. So ye to wo sheet ho gayi. So this is very briefly the spiritual aspect of the Hajj, and how to really gain that spiritual level is covered. So now we come to the outward aspect, the fiqh aspect. Clothing, you can take any clothing, but normally the weather is warm there, so you take summer clothes there. Women wear their normal comfortable clothes and there's no restriction upon them in ihram to wear special clothes. Slippers you can take any, but for ihram, your bone of the upper bone of the foot should be naked, meaning it shouldn't be covered. So you should use some kind of slippers which that bone stays uncovered. Yeah. Next is the limits where you should put the ihram on, and you cannot go past those limits. And if you go, you have to offer a qurbani, an animal sacrifice. They are known as miqat. Miqat, the boundary. Miqat is the geographical boundary that a person intending Hajj or Umrah may not cross without assuming ihram for Hajj or Umrah or both. So I've already actually has mentioned. So those people who are going for Hajj, they should, as I said, the easiest and the Hajj which they should do intention is called tamattu, which means that they are going to perform Umrah first and then they are going to perform Umrah first, and then they are going to perform Hajj. So they will actually, it's as though they are going for Umrah, not Hajj. Those people who will be going, they will be going exactly like that, they are going to go Umrah. So yes, they should get the Hajj leaflet, but they should also have the Umrah leaflet, which guides for Umrah, because this leaflet doesn't tell you anything from the Umrah. Umrah leaflet is separate leaflet, small leaflet. So you will be going with the intention of Umrah, because Hajj Tamattu means that you do Umrah first, then you take off your ihram, live normal as you, in normal clothing, without restrictions of ihram. Then on 8th Zul Hajjah, you put on the ihram for Hajj. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did the Qiran Hajj, which means that he alayhi salatu wasalam did one ihram and did both Umrah and Hajj in one ihram. But Tamattu and others are also Hajj sunnahs, meaning they can be also done. So rather Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that if he hadn't done the intention of, he hadn't had a sacrifice animal, some people had sacrificed animal, meaning they did the niyat of Qiran, but for the others, the Prophet who had the sacrifice animal with them, the Prophet ﷺ said that if I knew what I knew now, I would have also took off ihram as well. And meaning that would have done the Hajj Tamattu, which is the Umrah with one ihram and Hajj with the separate ihram. But he ﷺ practically he did the other one, but verbally he said that if I knew some of the things which I know now, I would have done the other one. So as I am saying, both Hajj one can do. So that's a person should not hasten, oh yeah, I am very good, I am doing the highest level Hajj. You don't know, maybe then the other one is the highest in the sight of Allah, you don't know. So whichever you are doing, do it with humbleness, and inshallah that is fine. Now, this one, miqat, these are just the boundary. You are going on the plane, so you don't really need to know and set. People who are going directly, they should perform, they should put on the ihram with the niyat of Umrah. Umrah from home or from the plane or from 1 hour before the plane reaches Jeddah. Those people who are going in Medina Sharif directly, they don't need to be worried about ihram at all. They're going to go without ihram to Medina Sharif, and then from Medina to Munawwara they will put ihram on. So people who are going directly to Makkah, for them these are the boundaries. So if you're going to Jeddah, you need to put ihram beforehand. These are for other people who come from different lands. So these are some of the detail of these boundaries of miqat. Al-Juhfad, it's those people who come from northwest, North Africa, etc. For them it is this one. For some people from Medina Sharif. So to you really it refers to either this one or actually this Zul Hulayfa if you will be coming from Medina Sharif. So, yeah. These are the miqat and haram of Makkah. That those people who live in Makkah, if they want to do Umrah, they will have to go through these places. Taneem, this is called Masjid Aisha, Jirana, Arafah, Hudaybiyah. This is haram of Makkah. So this is the miqat all actually. But those people who live here, for them the boundary is here. And those people who are living in, they also go to this boundary, they can perform Umrah if they want so. So ye uske liye hai. So our people normally if they want to perform Umrah, they go to Masjid Aisha, which is called Tan'im. So ye hai. Allahu Akbar. So here it's being said that the Haram of Makkah is sanctified area surrounding Makkah and was signed by boundaries through Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, through Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. And after Fath Makkah, Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam sent Tamim and Asad al-Khudai to renew the boundaries of the Haram. So they are well marked by the places and signs. So this is an overview map of Haram of Makkah. तो आप देख लीजिए, ये काबा है in the middle. This is the city of Makkah. This is Arafah here, the red line. This is Mina, and this is Muzdalifah. This goes to Jeddah and to Medina Sharif, the road. So here you see the three important places in the Hajj which you have to know: from Makkah, Mina, Muzdalifah, and Arafat. So Muzdalifah in the middle, and Arafat is here, and Mina is here. You camp here. The camps and the tents in Mina are around here. Inshallah, you will see some detail after as well. Limits of the Haram of Makkah, you already, I have mentioned to you how much they are. So Haram boundaries are very well marked there. So if you're going past there, you can't miss them. It's it's the beginning of Haram boundary, Badaya to Haddul Haram. So it's marked very clearly. So inshallah, a person, if they see, they will see easily. Now, after those people who, as I have mentioned, if they listen carefully, who are going for Hajj Tamattu, which means that they'll be performing Umrah first. So they will be, I'll go touch on something in detail. They will be putting a ihram on. Before that they do ghusl or wudu, and then do the niyyat of Umrah. Oh Allah, I make intention of Umrah, make it easier for me and accept it from me, and make intention. They have made intention and recite Talbiyah, Labbaik, Allahumma Labbaik. Now they are in ihram. These people will go to Makkah Sharif if they need to rest. You see, this is a masala as well. There's no harm in resting. There's no harm in eating. There's no harm in doing ghusl. People who are in ihram, they reach Makkah. If they are tired, they can rest for a few hours. If they are hungry, they can actually eat. If they are, for example, feeling uncomfortable, they can even do ghusl. And they can go 2, 3, 4 hours after in the haram to do umrah. It is not that they have to, for example, very quickly put the luggage in the hotel and run towards the haram. Sometimes people are tired, they're elderly people, or even if they're young people, you want to be in feeling fresh and doing those amals in a good state of mind and a good state of body, meaning physically. So if you go there, put your luggage, have a bath, or you want to eat, have a rest if you want, then you go to the Haram Sharif, Kaaba Sharif. You, inshallah, I'll show you with the picture as well. You do the tawaf of the Kaaba. Tawaf of the Kaaba 7 times. Then you do the sa'i, running between Safa and Marwa. And then you shave off your head or shorten the hair. There you are, your umrah is done. Now you take your ihram off and you live there in Makkah Sharif as normal, without restrictions of ihram. And then you just wait till the first day of Hajj, which is on the 8th, to actually put a new ihram on. So ye hota hai. For women, as we mentioned, that they can wear any clothes which as their normal clothes. And secondly, if they are in state of impurity, they are in state of hajj, then they still do the intention of umrah or intention of hajj if they are doing, and do the intention of umrah or hajj and recite the talbiyah and do everything except going to the mosque of Haram and Tawaf. And when they become purified, they can go and do the Tawaf. Until they wait, and inshallah, they are not deprived of any goodness. They even get more reward as well, inshallah, if they are caused inconvenience. तो ये तो औरतों के लिए. Now, on the first day of Dhul Hajj, here the picture which you are seeing is of Mina. What you are going to do first day in the morning, take a bath or make wudu, put on the Hajj ihram, and before entering into the state of ihram, this is for the person, for example, some people are doing the intention of Hajj from miqat. These clip nails, etc., because mushtaz and other unwanted hair, because you won't be able to clip or cleanse or cut off these hairs after if you are in ihram. So when arriving at the miqat, you may clip mushtaz, clip nails, remove hair, take shower, ghusl. This is sunnah. Put perfume on your body, head or beard. Now this is one thing which people are confused as well. To put perfume or itar after you have ihram is prohibited. Before ihram, you can put perfume on your body. Before ihram, you can put perfume on your body, spray on your body, on beard. खुशबू बंदा लगा सकता है, ihram पर भी लगा सकता है खुशबू. So put perfume on your body, cleanse your body as though you are getting ready, and put ihram clothing, men only. Pray 2 rakat nafal, which are for the ihram. So this is what you have prepared for ihram. Up to this point, you have prepared for ihram. Now after that, make this intention and say, if you are doing umrah, labbaik Allahumma umrah wallah, I make intention for umrah. If you are making hajj, then actually you do the hajj. So because we are talking about the 8th Dhul Hajjah, you are making the intention for hajj. Wallah, make intention. So remember that up to you have got the 2 chadars on, you've done preparation, etc., but you are still not in the state of ihram until you do intention. Ihram, you come, restrictions apply only when you make intention. When you make intention of hajj and umrah, now you are actually in state of ihram. So you can pray 2 rakat nafal, as we mentioned, recite talbiyah 3 times. After the nawafil, recite the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. It is necessary to recite talbiyah. If someone doesn't know, they should look and recite. If they are not literate, they should follow someone and at least say once or few times. Otherwise, actually, it is a violation. After intention is made, recite the talbiyah, and talbiyah as I have mentioned to you before. And talbiyah should be continued until you see the Kaaba or until the rami of the last jamra in the case of hajj. So the talbiyah, it should be continued until you see the Kaaba. If you are doing umrah, until you see the Kaaba, then you stop saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik, because you reached there. And if you are on hajj, then until the rami, meaning the stoning of the devils of the last jamra, then actually you stop there. So especially do this wird, and as I have mentioned to you, the spiritual aspect of talbiyah, keep that in mind, that what you are saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and especially when you are descending, ascending, joining a party of people after every salah, in the morning and evening, this is your main wird, it should be. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. And it should be recited aloud. So, ihram and talbiyah for women, as we have mentioned before, it's equally sunnah for women to shower before ihram and cleanse them. A woman in her menstruation or nifas takes a shower and assumes ihram but does not pray the 2 rakat of ihram. So the only difference between the ihram of women is that they don't put the white chadars and they don't pray 2 rakat of nafal if they are in state of ihram, if they are in the state of hajj or menstruation or the nifas. Restriction of ihram, you already should know if you've been on Umrah, that men cannot wear any sewn clothes such as shirt, turban, hooded cloak, trousers, underwear, shoes. Women can wear their normal clothes, but without covering their faces or hands. So women have one restriction, that they can't touch anything on their faces. So their face should be seeable or not, anything clothes should not be touching, or hands. What is forbidden to wear during the state of ihram is not stitched material in themselves, but those garments are made to fit the limbs and are usually worn by people in normal states, such as shirts, pants, and t-shirts. You should not wear gloves, although there is no harm in wrapping the hands in cloth. Men cannot cover their head with something that touches it. Now, in state of ihram, you cannot, if you are sleeping with let's say, a quilt or a chadar at night time, you cannot cover your head. You cover your feet, but head should not be covered. ये है कि जो बंदे सो रहे हैं सोते वक्त ihram में. So men cannot cover their head with something that touches it. Fragrance, as I said, before putting on ihram, you can use fragrance. But after you have put on ihram, you should not perfume yourself, your clothing, your food or drink after entering ihram. You should also abstain from cleansing yourself with scented soap. There is no harm in what remains of the effect of perfume used prior to ihram. So someone say, I still have effect on the body or on the ihram. There is no harm in there. Uska koi harj nahi. This is relationship between husband and wife are forbidden, and all matters leading to it, such as kissing, touching, or talking with one's wife, husband about any of these related matters is forbidden as well. Not only the act, but also speech or gestures or anything like this. Ye bhi mana hai udhar. You should not remove any hair from any part of the body. You should not clip your nails. So if the hairs, they go off by itself, that's fine, meaning there's no harm upon you. But if you are actually cleansing, then they come off, then you should give some sadaqah. You should not kill lice as well. Wedding, these things are forbidden during the ihram. You shouldn't be wed or make marriage or nikah proposal for yourself or others. Hunting as well. You should not hunt or assist someone in hunting. Nor you are allowed to kill animals except those are harmful or that would attack people, such as mice, snakes, and scorpions. Now, fidya and compensation for ihram are 4 categories. One is for wedding, there is no fidya for that. A camel or cow as fidya for sexual intercourse before the first tahallul. That you can ask in detail, that when that you've done it before tawaf-e-ziyarat of Hajj, then there is, you have to actually pay that, a big qurbani. The same animal or its equivalent as fidya for hunting, and fidya, that is a choice between fasting 3 days, feeding 6 needy people, or slaughtering a sheep or goat for cutting hair, and the rest of restrictions. For the rest of restriction, it is this, depending upon the ability of the person. So some things are permissible, and they are like for umbrella, the roof of a car or tent for shade. There's also no harm in carrying your baggage top your head. You can carry that. Wearing sandals that do not cover the ankle and the upper part of the bone. Rings, glasses, a watch worn on your wrist or hung from your neck, etc. Wearing a hearing aid or speech aid. And a person, as I said, that it is permissible for you to cleanse yourself with unscented cleansers and to wash and scratch your head and body, even if some of your hair falls unintentionally, but then you have to give sadaqah as well. Washing your ihram garments or put on new ones. This is also important to know, because some people think that they can't take their chadars off or their mantles off because they consider that is ihram. That is not ihram. They are just the chadars. You can wear a new one, you can wash it and wear another one as well. So wearing a belt to keep your money and documents and to tie your izar, the lower part of the arm, stitched belts are permissible. Here the scholars say that you shouldn't wear the belt with the intention of putting the ihram together, but you can wear the belt to keep money and documents, and with it automatically that will come as well. So just for the putting the ihram together, one should avoid actually wearing with this intention. Now your obligations under ihram begins. All these restrictions which have been mentioned, they have begun now, and you are under the obligation. So now you leave for Mina, and you should leave after Fajr and before Zuhr for Mina. So what you do is let me show you the area of Mina. These are Mina borders. This is Mina, and this is Muzdalifah, and this is the road to Makkah Sharif, and this is Mina where all the tents and people will be staying. This is Muzdalifah, and this is the border of Mina, these green lines. So one should stay in these borders. They are signposted there as well. This is Azizia, where many people stay, and they go to, for example, to prayers from here. And that is when some people, they can't afford very expensive Hajj. Hajj might be a little bit cheap, for 200-300 pounds, but then they stay here for some days in Azizia, and they, on buses, etc., they go to prayers if they want. So this is Azizia. It's closer to Mina and Muzdalifah. This is the Jamarat area, which is under construction here, where they, at that time now it is constructed, where shaitans are thrown pebbles at those three places. Wo yahan hai. So know the area in your mind: Makkah, Kaaba Sharif, Mina and Jamarat, and here is the Muzdalifah, and Wadi Muhassir. This is Wadi Muhassir. This is where the azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came on Abraha. Then the stones, pebbles were thrown through the birds of Ababil on them. So it is recommended that the person doesn't stay in here, and they walk very swiftly, as it is the place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punishment came, so a person should fear. So ye Wadi Muhassir, wahan azab aaya hai Allah ka, to wahan bande ko जो है जल्दी गुजरना चाहिए, वो जहाँ ज़्यादा ठहरना नहीं चाहिए. So that's why you see this place is empty. यहाँ ज़्यादा बंदे रहते नहीं. So ये है. So again now वो तो satellite view थी. This is a little bit more. So Makkah Sharif, and on 8th Dhul Hajj you will be traveling here to Mina, and this is the boundary of Mina, and this is Muzdalifah, and this is Arafat. So you're going from Mina, route will be Mina to Arafat, and then Arafat to Muzdalifah, and then back to Mina again. So there's only 3 places used for Hajj purpose. Now Safa and Marwa, this is Babu Salam gate, and this dome is on Safa and this dome is on Marwa. This is the sa'i of Hajj is wajib, as I have mentioned before as well, that it is up to you. You can perform that sa'i of Hajj before you go to Mina. Before you go to Mina, you do a tawaf after putting ihram, you do a tawaf and sa'i of Hajj, that's done. If you don't do it at that time, then you have to do it with the tawaf-e-ziyarat at the end, on the 10th or 11th or 12th. It's easier to do it on 10th because you are fresh, you are here in Makkah, you are not tired. On the 10th, it will be very, very tiresome. Everyone will be doing sa'i, and person will be tired as well. So a person for ease, they can do the sa'i before. Now this is Safa and Marwa. This is where as normal people only understand that this is the sunnah of Hazrat Hajira radiyallahu ta'ala anha when she ran. But really, even before her, it is first person to perform sa'i between Safa and Marwa was Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. It's only by the will of Allah that Hazrat Hajira also did the sa'i there. But the first person to perform the tawaf of the Kaaba, of the human being, and the sa'i, Safa, Marwa, it is actual sunnah of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. Lekin uske baad, after that, Hazrat Hajra also did it there, meaning to find water. So that is by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. तो ये ऐसी बात नहीं कि भाई हज़रत हाजरा रज़ी अल्लाह ताला वो पहली हस्ती थी जिन्होंने वो किया. ये असल में हज़रत आदम अलैहिस्सलाम ने उनसे भी पहले ही सही की थी सफ़ा मरवा के दरमियान. तो उनकी सुन्नत तारीफ़ हज़रत हाजरा की भी हो गई. फिर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम did as well. So like हज़रत हाजरा did, हज़रत इब्राहीम अलैहिस्सलाम, Prophet अलैहिस्सलाम did as well. तो इसलिए ये कई अम्बिया अलैहिस्सलाम की सुन्नत सफ़ा and Marwa. This is. And similarly tawaf as well. When Hazrat Adam alayhi salam came and he met angels he met angels and he said, what you are doing? They said that we have done a tawaf 2,500 years before you, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. And Hazrat Adam alayhi salam asked that, what did you recite during the tawaf? They said, Subhanallahi walhamdulillahi wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. This is 2,500 years before Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. The angels mentioned this to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. So this is a blessed place of Safa and Marwa. So as I said that you can do it before you go to the Hajj. So these are different gates of the Masjid al-Haram: Babu Salam, Babu al-Fath, and Umrah gate, Fahad gate, and King Abdul Aziz gate. These are all gates. And this is here the birthplace of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam here. You see, the Rasulullah's birthplace is such that it directly faces the door of the Kaaba. It's as though the Kaaba is also pointed towards the birthplace of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. तो हुजूर इस्लाम की जहाँ पैदाइश हुई वो सीधा काबे ने भी अपना जो दरवाज़ा है वो उस तरफ है काबे का सीधा. So here is the door of the Kaaba and this side, and there it is. So this is Masjid al-Haram, the boundaries, and some of the tawaf on the third floor. If you do, it is about 0.4 miles, one of it. If you do it here, 0.5 miles here, 0.8 kilometers. So it's easier to do and closer to Sunnah to do tawaf there in the mataf, except there are disabled people or something like this. These are some of the hotels. So the door of the Kaaba, as we have mentioned before, the black stone, Hajar Aswad, Maqam Ibrahim, and Hatim, this is now clearly seen. This is the actual foundation of Kaaba. That is why Rasulullah ﷺ don't touch these corners, because these are not corners of the Kaaba. The corners of the Kaaba are here. Rather, it doesn't have corners. It only have 2 corners. The others is like arch shape, semi-arch shape. So there's no other corners really for the Kaaba. Only 2. So this is the well of Zamzam is just under here. Now it is covered as well. And so after, as we said, that when you have done tawaf of Umrah, you go to Maqam Ibrahim, you pray 2 nafal, and then you again go to the Zamzam water, drink some Zamzam water. Then again you go towards the Hajar Aswad, do the Istilam, kiss it again, and then you go towards Safa and Marwa. It's towards here. So you have an idea where the places are and where to go. So from Maqam Ibrahim to Zamzam, and from Zamzam again you go towards the Hajar Aswad, and then back here towards Safa and Marwa. So now you should be able to know, this is the door. What is this? This is Hajar Aswad, black stone. What is this? Maqam Ibrahim. What is this place called Yamani corner, where you touch it during the tawaf? What is this? This is Hatim, the boundary of the Kaaba. And what is this? Iraqi corner and Shami corner, and that's it. This is for especially people who are going first time, or they are doing the Umrah, the arrival at Masjid al-Haram. When you see the Kaaba, raise your hands if you want to, as it is established from the Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, and do actually a dua. You make dua with whatever you wish. This is dua of Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam. Hayyana rabbana bis salam. Of Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala at the arrival. So this is for those people who will be arriving in the Makkah Sharif. They will arrive in Masjid al-Haram after the hotel. They will go towards the black stone. They will then perform tawaf around. This is summary. Now we are summarizing that part as well. They will perform the tawaf around the Kaaba, 7 circuits, but with iztiba. Iztiba means that we'll show you in the picture as well. Iztiba means to have the right shoulder naked. The right shoulder should not be covered with the ihram. Then in the first 3 circuits you put little steps, and you also, it's as though you're jogging. It's called ramal, but this is for men only. So the men should then, after the tawaf, they should not actually have iztiba, the right shoulder they should cover, and pray 2 rakat, and then go to sa'i. Sa'i, they can have the iztiba in sa'i as well. In sa'i they can keep the right shoulder as well empty if they wish. There's no restriction in there. You can do the sa'i with iztiba as well. But if you do it otherwise, you can do it as well. Then pray 2 rakat, nafal after the tawaf. Now this is one important masla, that some people, maybe they don't know, or because of not knowledge, when they pray 2 rakat nafal, or they want to have tawaf, they are not sunnah, but they are wajib. The 2 rakat of nafal which you perform after the tawaf, they are wajib. Wajib means that there is something necessary. And when they are necessary, in fiqhul Hanafi fiqh, even after Asr prayer, after Fajr prayer, you can do something wajib, like sajda tilawat, or namaz janaza is anyway, namaz janaza, or qaza prayer, janaza prayer, sajda tilawat, because they are wajib, necessary things. Sunnah and Nawafil cannot be done. Nafal cannot be done after Asr till Maghrib, from Fajr till when the sun rises and Ishraq. But remember that these 2 rakat after Nafal, which are after Tawaf, these 2 rakat Nafal after Tawaf, they are wajib. So technically, according to the Asul of Fiqh al-Hanfi, you can pray these 2 rakat even after Asr. If you don't, then you have to pray after Maghrib anyway. Or if you don't pray after Fajr, you have to pray after the sun rises. But because these nafals are wajib, they are not nafal really. They are obligatory. It's an obligatory thing like sajda tilawat or qaza prayer. After you cannot do it when the sun is rising, when the sun is at noon, when the sun is actually setting. And I also read you a hadith as well. Once the Prophet ﷺ himself performed tawaf after Asr prayer, and then they prayed these nawafil. Ibn Abi Malika narrates, the Prophet ﷺ performed tawaf after Asr and prayed 2 rakats after Asr. It is narrated by Hazrat Abu Zar Ghafari that after placing his hands on the Kaaba, after his placing his hand on the Kaaba, and he said loudly, "Those who know me, they know me. Those who don't know me should know that I am Jundab." Narrated by Abu Zar Ghafari, the Sahabi of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said after placing his hand on the Kaaba, उन्होंने कहा जो मुझे नहीं जानते जानते हैं वो तो जानते, जो नहीं जानते मेरा नाम जुंदब है, मैं सहाबी रसूल हूँ, a companion of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he said, I heard, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ, मैंने सुना है, that apart from Makkah, Makkah के अलावा, in Makkah, he said, apart from in Makkah, no prayer should be offered after Asr and Fajr. Related by Imam Behki. उन्होंने कहा कि मैंने भाई सुना है कि मैं सहाबी तुम्हें बता रहा हूँ, शायद तुम्हारे इल्म में ये ना हो कि नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने मक्का के अलावा फरमाया कि असर और फजर के बाद कोई नफल नमाज, कोई नमाज नहीं पढ़ी जा सकती, लेकिन मक्का में पढ़ी जा सकती है. Jabir bin Ma'atim narrates that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered, नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने खुद ऑर्डर किया है. कहाँ? इमाम तिरमिज़ी ने हदीस नरेट की, इमाम निसाई ने, इमाम अबू दाऊद ने, क्या? Do not stop anyone performing the tawaf of the house at any time. Don't stop anyone to doing the tawaf of the house. And let him pray in any part of day and night. और उसको पढ़ने भी दो दिन रात में. अब लोगों को पता नहीं ना, ये जैसे हज़रत जुंदब भी इसीलिए कह रहे हैं कि भाई बहुत सारे कई ताबईन होंगे, कई सहाबा जिन्होंने ये नहीं सुनी, वो पहले ही सिर्फ सुनी हुई है कि असर के बाद नमाज नहीं है. वो है कि अगर वो नमाज नफल है, नफली नमाज जायज़ नहीं. कज़ा नमाज किसी ने पढ़नी है, वो असर के बाद भी पढ़ सकता है, फजर के बाद कज़ा नमाज सजदा तिलावत कर सकता है. तो तवाफ़ के जो 2 रकात हैं, दे आर वाजिब. तो ये अभी मैंने अभी बता दिया हदीस में. एंड दिस इज रिटन बाय फतवा गिवन बाय मुफ्ती मोहम्मद खान कादरी, इज वेरी वेल नोन मुफ्ती ऑफ अहले सुन्नत वल जमात इन पाकिस्तान. तो उन्होंने ये अपना लिखा. तो सो वी कम बैक टू दी 2 रकात. लेकिन कोई ना पढ़ेगा उस वक़्त तो बाद में भी वो पढ़ना ज़रूरी होगा, क्योंकि यू हैव टू एक्चुअली प्रे 2 रकात. लेकिन आपको बता दिया है हदीस की रोशनी में, सहाबा की रोशनी में, फ़िक़्ह हनफ़ी के इन द लाइट ऑफ फ़िक़्ह हनफ़ी, दैट डोंट. सम पीपल स्कॉलर्स इवन दे एक्चुअली से डोंट. उनको ये इन हदीसें शायद पता, उन्होंने पूछें आपने वो हदीस पढ़ी है, इमाम बेहकी ने कहा है कि भाई आप पढ़ सकते हैं, और कहे नहीं दिखाओ कहाँ है, तो समझ जाओ उनको पता ही नहीं. उन्हें कहे पढ़ो जाके फिर. अच्छा, देन अ पर्सन शुड एक्चुअली ड्रिंक फ्रॉम the Zamzam. Drink from Zamzam. Then go to straight to a black stone and facing it make takbir. Then touch it with your right hand and kiss it and make sajda upon it also, as the Prophet ﷺ did. Rasulullah also did sajda on the black stone as well. If one can do it, one can. If you're not able to kiss it, then touch it with your right hand, then kiss your hand. If you cannot touch it, you should make a sign towards it with your hand. So the Hajar al-Aswad is that where you have three options. One is that you kiss it and do sajda on it, उसको चूमना, सजदा करना. दूसरा ऑप्शन है उसको हाथ लगाना. तीसरा है it is to just to actually sign towards it and kiss your hand. तो ये sign है. And you that in every circuit. Do that in every circuit. हर चक्कर में ये करना. So do not push and crowd to get to the black stone, according to the Prophet ﷺ saying to Umar radiyallahu ta'ala. Because Rasulullah ﷺ said to Hazrat Umar, "O Umar, you are a strong person. आप बहुत ताकतवर हैं, तो वहाँ हजर अस्वद में अगर आसानी से कर सकें, वरना जो है लोगों को तकलीफ मत देना." तो हजरत उमर को, so this is known that if someone is strong, young, so don't actually crush and harm the other people. Remember, maybe the status of the person who you are pushing is more than the Kaaba itself sometime. Because Prophet ﷺ said that my believer of my ummah is more sacred to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the Kaaba. नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, मेरी उम्मत का जो ईमान वाला मोमिन मोमिना औरत है, उसकी इज्जत अल्लाह के यहाँ काबे से भी ज़्यादा है. तो जिसकी अल्लाह काबे से भी, उसको तो आप धक्के दे रहे हैं, और जो कम है वहाँ आप जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो कैसे बंदे को मिलेगा? मतलब बाप की बेअदबी कर रहा है, बेटे का अदब कर रहा है बंदा, तो वो क्या फ़ायदा उसका? अदब तो बाप का करना चाहिए. बाप का बड़ा दर्जा है, बेटे का कम है उससे. So you do not have to touch the black stone for your tawaf to be accepted. If it is crowded, you may face your hand towards it and say Allahu Akbar. Do not hurt anyone to kiss the black stone. Do not stand at the black stone line for a long time. Make a sign towards it with your right hand and say Allahu Akbar and move on. So excellence of touching the black stone. This is some of the fazilat as well. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah will raise up the stone on the day of resurrection, and it will have two eyes with which it will see, and a tongue with which it will talk, and it will witness in favor of everyone who touched it in truth. So Hajar Aswad जो है, ये क़यामत इसकी आंखें होंगी, इसकी ज़ुबान होगी, ये गवाही देगा कि इस बंदे ने आके अपना अहद पूरा किया. And another hadith narrated by Imam Hakim and Ibn Habban, touching the black stone and the Yamani corner removes sins. गुनाह वो माफ होते हैं, वो चूस लेता है गुनाह बंदे के, जो जुल्मत है वो ख़त्म कर देता है बंदा. यमनी कॉर्नर भी and this black stone. And another hadith by Ibn Khuzaimah, the black stone is from paradise and it used to be whiter than snow, but the sins of the idolaters turned it black. So imagine that the black stone, वो white था, it was light, illuminating. तो गुनाह की हाथ लगाने की वजह से गुनाहगारों के, हम जैसे लोगों के और मुशरिकीन के, it has turned black. आप अंदाज़ा लगाएं कि ये जो दिल हमारे अंदर लगा हुआ है, जो हम जो रात दिन गुनाह कर, इसकी क्या हालत होगी? पत्थर काला हो गया. तो वो जो नक्शा आपको बनाते हैं डाल के, वो दिल का जो है नक्शा, द पिक्चर ऑफ द हार्ट, आवर हार्ट्स आर मे बी समटाइम इवन मोर ब्लैक देन दैट. वो हजर अस्वद का रंग देखे कैसा हो गया. हालांकि हजर अस्वद ने गुनाह भी नहीं किया, और हमारा तो दिल खुद गुनाह करता है, हसद बोझ रखता है, तो उसका तो हालत समझे क्या है. दैट्स वाई वी डोंट गेट एनी क्लोजनेस टू अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला. तो इसलिए तज़किया इज़ वेरी वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. तो ये तवाफ़ के बारे में आपको बता दिया, हाउ टू डू इट. दिस इज़ जस्ट a summary. So now you can see very clearly what I meant by Hajar Ismail and Yamani corner. They have black stone corner, foundation Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam put. This is Yamani corner, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. But Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam made a Kaaba like this. This is the actual form of the Kaaba. This is the actual sketch of the Kaaba. ये है उसकी असल शक्ल. Imagine if it was like this. For this reason, the mihrabs in the mosques, they are made in this shape, because they are pointing towards the Kaaba. So mihrabs are like mini models of the actual Kaaba. जो mihrab होते हैं मस्जिदों में, in the mosques, they are like a mini model of the Kaaba, actual Kaaba. So instead of being in the cube, they are made actually in the arch form. So ये जो arch है, and this is like, so if you ponder over, जो मेहराब बनाए जाते हैं तो वो इस तरह के arch shape होते हैं. So they symbolically they are like the copies of Kaaba. So when the mushrikeen, Abu Jahl and other people before him, they built the Kaaba, they built it like this now. So this corner was laid down by mushrikeen, not Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Rasulullah sallam never touched these corners because they are not on the right foundation. Foundation is here. Kaaba only have two corners really. तो ये आपको पता चल गया, शामी कॉर्नर, इराकी कॉर्नर. So this is the start line. यहाँ से आप शुरू करेंगे तवाफ. Start line of the tawaf and then go around it like this. So round ये आपका होगा. This is so Zamzam and Safa, they are both almost opposite to the door of the Kaaba and Hajr Aswad. So in tawaf, wuzu is necessary. A menstruating woman does not make tawaf until she becomes clean. Saying intention, you do not have to say your intention out loud, you can say it silently. All kinds of tawaf, including optional tawaf, consist of 7 circuits. 7 circuits are necessary. The Kaaba should be to your left. Do not do tawaf with your back or right to the Kaaba. Do not walk backwards. You don't even actually face the Kaaba during the tawaf. Tawaf is like prayers, except Rasulullah said, tawaf is like prayers, except that in tawaf you can talk, in prayers you can't talk. वो नमाज की तरह की इबादत होती है. तो नीचे निगाह करके a person should actually go around the Kaaba. And only time which you will be facing will be when you will be touching the Hajr Aswad or doing the istilam. Only then, if it's a glance, you see no harm in there. Tawaf shall be performed within the boundaries of Masjid Haram. This is a must as well. Touch the Yamani corner with your right hand each time you pass. Do not kiss it. And if you are not able to touch it, then you should not make any sign towards it with your hand. Do not face your hand to the Yamani corner and say Allahu Akbar. This is only for the black stone. Ye jo Allahu Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. This is done only for Hajr Aswad. When you begin, जिस तरह नमाज शुरू करते हैं ऊंचे हाथ, इस तरह when you begin tawaf, you do that like this. But then when you begin the tawaf of the Kaaba, you do Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, like this. Then in every circuit, you only raise your hands towards the Hajr Aswad and kiss and go over. Then in every circuit, you don't actually raise hands. वो सिर्फ शुरू में जैसे नमाज में आप करते हैं शुरू में, तो इस तरह की बात है. अच्छा, you do not touch the Shami or the Iraqi corners at all. And you should say between the Yamani and black stone, it's the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ, when you, the Yamani corner and the Hajr Aswad, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. Oh Allah, give us the goodness in this world and goodness in the hereafter, and save us from the punishment of the fire. तो ये कुछ तवाफ के मसाइल हैं. All these masail. So here, in case of doubt about the numbers of circuit you have performed, you have to base your decision on the least number of circuits. For example, if you have doubt whether you have done 6 or 7, you base it on 6 and add 1 circuit. अगर शक पड़ जाए 3 है या 4, तो जो कम अज कम है उस पे डिसीजन बेस करें. भाई 3 समझ के चौथा पूरा वहां से शुरू करें. If you get doubts after you finish your tawaf, just ignore it and do not act on it. तो ज़्यादा शक में भी ना पड़े, बस आपने कर लिया ठीक है, यकीन हो जाए तो फिर कर, वरना जो है बार बार नहीं. कई लोग जो हैं वो 7 की बजाय शक की वजह से 14 चक्कर, 10 चक्कर, भाई शायद एक कम हो गया. नहीं, when you are doubtful, वही फैसला कर लें that which one is it. Then you only have to do 1 extra. And if you don't, then you will do continuously. This is a place called multazam, this is where the prayer are accepted, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed here after the tawaf and did dua hereafter. It's a praise for acceptance of prayer. So yeah, Maqam Ibrahim, you've seen that, now you're seeing in detail that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it in the Quran. But if you are not able to pray around it or before it, then you can pray anywhere in the Masjid al-Haram. This is some of the pictures of the footprint of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Zamzam, you already know there are taps here. People are drinking water from the taps. And it is also, if a person wish, they can pour water on their head as well with drinking. पी भी सकता है बंदा और सर पे भी डाल सकता है, ये भी साबित है सुन्नत से. So that's how people will be drinking, and it's available anyway as well. This is sa'i, and sa'i means to run, complete 7 laps in the same manner. So what is the sa'i? Start with safa, recite a particular the ayah, make zikr and dua, and walk towards the marwa. This is your first lap. On the marwa, do the same as on safa, walk back, and this is your second one. And then men should also jog, or you may say, between these 2 green lines as well, as you know. These are some dua for the sa'i, and this is the part of the Mount Safa or Marwa which you can see, just a corner where people are sitting. We have some of the duas to be read there, and this is the people doing sa'i between Safa and Marwa. Alhamdulillah. Some of the masail, and after you can exit from Marwa when you finished, and you can clip your hair if you're doing the Umrah, and also shave your head off. This is more recommended. And also pray 2 nafal for shukr of sa'i as well. And then this is about shaving the head off. So this now, we mentioned the first day that you should only put ihram and actually come to Mina. You're doing nothing in Mina except actually prayers. So you are in Mina in the second day. So from this second day, on the 9th, you from Mina after Fajr, you can leave, and we are going towards Arafat, where the actual peak of the Hajj, actual place of the Hajj, where it takes place. So this is the Arafat, and this is the mosque there, which is built upon where Prophet ﷺ tent was erected when he ﷺ delivered khutbah. And this is the boundary. So mosque is boundary of Arafat. You shouldn't go outside this boundary. So this is the Jabal Rahmat, the mountain of mercy. It is sunnah to go closer to it and stand close by it and pray. It's not necessary to go up to the peak. Stay in Arafat, you pray Zuhr and Asr, and you don't pray Maghrib there. You leave after sunset, but you pray Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah. So this is like Muzdalifah now. People are just, some are sleeping, some are just praying, etc. Where you collect 70 or 49 stones from there. So do not pray Maghrib in Arafat. You go to Muzdalifah after sunset. So here now, you were here in Arafat and did the Hajj there, prayed Zuhr and Asr, and then you went to Muzdalifah. In Arafat, I mentioned last time that there is an amal to do and certain du'as to read by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are mentioned in this leaflet. Special dua by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you used to recite these du'as in Arafat again and again. So you can get this leaflet, and there is the amal written as well, which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever will perform 100 times La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu lahul mulk wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, 100 times Qul huwallahu ahad, and 100 times Durood Ibrahimi with the end wa alayna ma'ahum. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to this person that to the angels that this person, O angels, what is the reward of this person who have glorified me, have actually mentioned my lordship and my greatness and my praise, and has actually prayed the Durood Sharif on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I have forgiven him, and if he intercedes even for all the people in the Arafat, I will accept his intercession. And और चाहे कोई भी दुआ मांगे, and if he prays, I will accept him. तो ये अमल भी इस लीफलेट के एंड पे लिखा हुआ है, और ये दुआएं हैं जो नबी तिरमिज़ी शरीफ से इमाम बहकी ने रिवायत किया, जो हुजूर इस्लाम अरफात, उस दिन फिर जो है बैठ के बंदा यही बार बार पढ़े, और इनका मतलब भी लिखा हुआ है, ये अमल है, कुछ अमल कर ले, और ये अरफात में जो है वो करने वाला एक लीफलेट अलहदा है, मदीना शरीफ वाला अलहदा है। जो लोगों को पता नहीं होता तो वहाँ पे बेचारे वो अपनी मर्जी से कुछ ना कुछ और करते रहते हैं। So coming back to the now ये अरफात से जो है ये मुज़दलिफ़ा जो है आप आ जाएंगे, वो अमल करके सारे, and you will collect inshallah pebbles from there, and then you will go on the 10th Zulhijjah to Mina. Mina आप जाएंगे after Fajr, and you will throw 7 pebbles at Jamrat al-Aqaba. This time starts from Fajr prayer, Subah Sadiq and Fajr. You can actually go and actually throw at the bigger Jamara, which is the bigger shaitan, some people say, or the stone Jamara. So this one here, बड़े शैतान को जाके आप मारेंगे कंकरियाँ, and then qurbani, and then you shave off your head, and or the women actually do. Then alhamdulillah you can take off your ihram, and you can go for tawaf ziyarat. So day 4 of Hajj, then you are in Mina. What you do is after Zohar, yani after Zawal, you go to all 3 shayateen signs and throw 7 pebbles at them each. But you do dua after first one, after second throwing the second pebbles, after the third one, when you throw stones, you don't do dua, and you just actually leave. For the stone, it's not necessary that you hit the target exactly. If it just actually goes within the boundary close by, that is sufficient. So this is now the new, I think, structure which they have built of the Jamarat. So there are many floors, 1, 2, 3, you can come on many floors and actually perform your. These are the 1, 2, 3 shayateen where they do. So these are the sometime olden pictures. So on the 12th Zulhajj, again you go after Zawal, and you're doing other ibadat, and you throw 7 pebbles at each of the shayateen. And before Fajr time begin, after Maghrib and Isha, you can leave Mina to go back to Makkah, and then before leaving the Kaaba Sharif, you go to perform Tawaful Wida, which is wajib, and you leave Makkah. And then there is visit to Medina Sharif if you've done before, good and well, if not after. I'll just mention a few things about Medina Sharif after Maghrib, and then take some of your question and answer, and then inshallah we'll finish. Jazakumullah for your time. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruk wa natubu ilayk. Bismillah. Fiqh aspect of Umrah, and particularly the 5 days of Hajj. Now we'll be mentioning some of the etiquettes and adab of entering and living in Madinatul Munawwara for this blessed visit. Firstly, as I often mention, a person before they set off on this journey, they should cleanse themselves and they should also discharge themselves from the rights and obligations of people and human beings in relation to money matters, in relation to honor, or if you have defamed someone, in relation to physical or emotional harm of relatives or other people. These are the three major titles of the rights of people: that life, wealth, and honor. So, especially when entering Madinatul Munawwara, a person should again rectify their intention and cleanse themselves from these rights if they have violated it during the stay in Makkah or whilst they were here. And today there are many means, like you can use phone, you can use letter, email to ask forgiveness from people and to discharge yourself. But anyway, going to the Masjid Nabawi and to visit the Prophet ﷺ, so if you pay attention towards the screen, this is a place which is the highest ranking place on the face of the earth where Rasulullah ﷺ is resting. And this is a place even where the Kaaba near the Day of Judgment will come to do the ziyarat and to say salam to Rasulullah ﷺ as well. Before going to the heavens and Jannah, the Kaaba Sharif is going to come to the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say salam and mention something about the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here, many awliya, sulaha, they have come with utmost respect, and a person benefits according to how much respect and love he shows there. In proportion to that, he is going to benefit. And plus the amal of day and night, which I have mentioned in the beginning, what to do during the day, what to do during the night. Anyway, this is a brief map of which you are saying the Masjid al-Nabawi. There's a green dome of Prophet ﷺ. Men normally enter to say salam to Rasulullah ﷺ. Here is called Babu Salam, and they just walk forward and say salam and come out of a door called Babul Baqi. This is called Bab Jibreel, and this is the mihrab of the Imam. The first etiquette to enter the Masjid Nabawi is to pray, read the dua. And firstly, even before then, when you see the buildings, the trees of Medina Sharif, a person should read a dua and pray, Allahumma hadha harmu nabiyyak, that, oh Allah, this is the haram and sacred place of your Prophet. Usko mere liye jahannam se parda, Allahumma faj'alhu wiqayatan li minan nar. Make it a veil, make it this place, visiting this place a barrier for me to enter hellfire. Wa amanam min al-azabi wa su'il hisab, and a security from the punishment and a bad state on the Day of Judgment. When a person enters the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ, they should say the Masnoon dua, Bismillahi wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Pray 2 rakat namaz of Tahiyyatul Masjid, and then, if possible, if they want to show respect and honor, they can enter from any of the doors. And when they enter, let's say, here is the place to say the salam of the Prophet ﷺ, and here they enter, they can even pray 2 rakat nafal on every saf of shukr and tawbah. And that's how one way to come to Rasulullah ﷺ while actually praying 2 nafal at every saf at the so obviously this person will be more and more purified and more thankful is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is one way to visit. So some people didn't wear any shoes, some people took shoes from very far away, but I'm saying a normal thing which everyone can do. They enter the mosque, and how many ever safs, like for example, if this is the where they say salam, so these are the safs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 safs when you enter the mosque of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you can pray 2 rakat nafal at every saf, and every saf to pray 2 rakat, go the next musalla, pray 2 rakat, go to the next musalla, pray 2 rakat. And when you reach near the blessed dome, there actually you go and say salam, as I will show you. So this is one of the actions which one can do. Here is just a brief map as well of the pillars and also of the how the graves of the blessed companions and Rasulullah sallallahu are situated. So here is the green dome, and here is the grave of Prophet ﷺ. Here is Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq. Here is the grave of Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu's head is as though actually in line with the feet of the Prophet ﷺ, and in the chest of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq. So these are blessed graves, and the 3 normal holes which you see to say salam, they are here. So one is in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one in facing Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, and one is facing Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. These are the graves Mubarak. So this is the door I was mentioning to you before, Babu Salam. You enter here and go straight walking and say salam here and come out. Women, they normally enter through these doors and they stay about here or into the Riyadul Jannah. This is the place called the Riyadul Jannah, which means the garden of paradise, one of the gardens of paradise. So women normally they can say salam from anywhere. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam hears the salam from anywhere in the mosque which you see, which you say. So wherever you say, it's as though you are saying to the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So here are some columns, meaning some pillars which have a blessing, which has fazila in there. But so here they have been more nominated. This one, Ustawane Hanana, number 1 column here. Then the pillar of Sayyida Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. They have, all of them have a history. Don't have time to mention it. You can read in the books, inshallah. Ustuwane Abu Lubaba, this is the pillar of Tawbah, this number 3. It's recommended if a person don't want to do a Tawbah, he should do it there. And Ustuwane Ali, and this is Ustuwane Wufud, delegations. That means that where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to receive different wafads and delegations when they came to visit. And he ﷺ gave instructions. This is Ustuwane Jibreel alayhi where Jibreel alayhi used to come through this door and he used to sometimes stay there. And here is where Prophet ﷺ, Ustuwane Tahajjud here. A person reads Tahajjud, it's more rewardable here. Here is the outward of the chamber, outward grill, the golden grill of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So here the big golden sun-like hole you can see is where you say salam to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here to Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, and here to Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala. Some people think, for example, the first grill is Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the second Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, and third Sayyidina Umar. It's not true. They are just holes. There's empty. There's nothing in there as such. So it is actually in the middle grill and these 3 holes here. This is the mihrab. Mihrab means where the Imam stands. And this is the mihrab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he used to stand here. In his lifetime, the place is there. So And these are some of the doors, and also showing you a part of the Jannatul Baqi, the blessed graveyard, where many of the Sahaba and many of the awliya and sulaha and great imams of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Hassan radiallahu ta'ala, etc. are buried. So these are some blessed places where you can visit in the Madinatul Munawwara. This is it signifies where they are buried in the masjid, in the Jannatul Baqi, where they are buried. So number one, as soon as you enter, it is Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib, Hazrat Fatima bint Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here we are referring to this place. So as soon as you enter, on the right, Imam Hassan, Imam Ali Zain al-Abidin, Imam Baqir, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, they are all buried here. Number two, the daughters of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyida Zainab, Sayyida Ruqayya, Kalsoom, they are buried just on the left here. And then our blessed mothers, they are buried here, most of them. Then number four is Aqil bin Abi Talib, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Abdullah bin Jafar al-Tayyar, Sa'd bin Abi Waqas, in one narration, it is their place. Here number five is Imam Malik, the second Imam of fiqh, Imam Malik bin Anas, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he is buried there. And Imam Nafi', great Imam of Qiraat and fiqh. Here number six is the blessed son of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hazrat Ibrahim radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he is buried here. And Hazrat Usman bin Maz'un was a very blessed companion. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved him very much. He kissed him after his death and actually buried him. Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf, one of the 10 who had the guarantee of Jannah. And Asad bin Zurara, he was the first companion, one of the first peoples to bring Islam into Medina Sharif, and one of the first to do the bay'ah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Bayt Aqaba, where he visited in the very beginning years of Nabuwah in Makkah Sharif. He is buried here, Asad bin Zurara. Here there is number seven, Hazrat Safiya bint Abdul Muttalib, the aunt of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and here some other Shuhadai Harra. It's a place when Yazid, under his instruction, an army invaded Medina Sharif, and many hundreds Sahaba or Tabi'een were martyred, and they are all buried here. Here is the blessed grave at number 9, Hazrat Usman, which you are saying here. Hazrat Usman radiyallahu ta'ala, Hazrat Halima Sadiya's grave, and one narration, Hazrat Sa'ad bin Muaz is also buried there. You can also get maps for that as well, which give an indication. Here are some of the ziyarats which you do there. Here is Masjid Nabwi. Here is Sayyidina Ali. Masjid Ali used to be Masjid Abu Bakr, called Masajid Khamsa. They were together. Masjid Ghamama, some of the ziyarats. Masjid Umar Farooq, Masjid Usman. Some are there, some are not. So there are some of the pictures of these mosques. And Masjid Qiblatain, this is where the Qibla was changed whilst the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was leading the prayer. And Masjid Jummah, and this is the third sacred mosque in Islam. Firstly, it is the Masjid al-Haram, Kaaba Sharif. Secondly, Masjid al-Nabwi. And third one is this one, Masjid Quba, here. So this is the end now actually from here. And people who would like to know what to read when they go to the mosque of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this leaflet which covers some of the fiqh and adab of Masjid Nabwi, called Medina Munawwara Kaise Jaye. This is the outward aspect. So this is one you should have. Similar one you should have for Umrah as well. And this is the Arafat, what you should be reading when praying in Arafat, the du'as sabit by Sunnah, and the special amal which you can do in Arafat. Here is the amal of Hajj and Umrah in detail, which we mentioned before. The person, how he spends his day and night spiritually in Makkah Sharif and Medina Sharif, in English and Urdu. So one copy you should have of these. And then there are leaflets. It briefly covers whatever is in this booklet here. So this is the Urdu version and this is the English version spiritually. Now these things maybe don't cost too much, maybe 10 pence, 15 pence, but there a person needs them very much, and plus it is a good opportunity to attain lot of virtues. For example, if you're alone reading it, you'll alone reading it. But there people really will read and they are in need and they will definitely utilize them. So if you take 100 from here, you don't have much luggage. For example, take 100 of these, 100 of these, 100 of Medina Sharif, some 100 of Arafat there you will give, and Alhamdulillah, it's as though you are you are not doing the Hajj and Ziyarah, but it's as though you are getting reward of hundreds people to your account as well, and they are going to do. तो ये leaflet तो इसलिए है कि ये free तकसीम कर सकते हैं आप लेके, और and the spiritual amals as well, and the booklets as well, people are going to benefit from them. So you can order and inshallah order, and this is the fiqh aspect of the Hajj, where step by step you can know how to do the Hajj, and on some du'as and details of the step by Hajj. So all these information is very, very useful for you. And this is a blessed du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he alayhi salatu wasalam used to read and recommend to some of them, some of the Sahaba during the day and night. It's called Masnoon Azkar. So what you want to read there in Medane, Arafat, Mina, wherever you are, apart from Quran and other things, this is book which you take, this which has the blessed selected dua of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam to be recited day and night. So one can do as many times as well. And I think this is a new publication they have, and it has the fazila, the virtues of those amals and the references of the hadith as well, with the du'as as well. And towards the end, there are some amal of the Mashayikh Tariqa Muhammadiyah, like Durood Rizwan, Surat Al-Mulk, for example, which you can read at night time, Salatul Hajat, Salatul Istikhara, the amal for barakah of rizq, and other things like this. They are available in two sizes, one, and this is pocket size. So ye kuch material hai. Now inshallah, if you have not understood anything, obviously there will be many things, but inshallah the things which I have covered, they are mostly mentioned in these leaflets or the spiritual booklets there, if you want to keep and learn. But anyway, if still there is clarification you want, you can ask questions if you wish. Sisters also can ask questions, but they can write questions down and send. Before you are thinking of question, this is one very important amal. If you look, what you should do when you should come back from the Hajj and Umrah to preserve those blessings. This is that, O servant of Allah, your Lord is the restorer of all peace and harmony. O servant of Allah, when the seeker returns from the sacred house, they should perform 4 rakat Salatul Shukr. After that, the Salatul Shukr, they should recite Durood Sharif 10 times, 100 times Ya Hamid, Ya Samad, Ya Muhaymin, Ya Jabbar, and Durood Sharif. And they should think like this, that, O servant of Allah, you should close your eyes and replay the journey you had taken towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's blessed city. Imagine your soul is still there in Masjid Nabwi and in Makkah, performing the amals you have done. Imagine all the light from the sacred house and his beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam entering into your body. Then imagine this light forming a protective shield around you, your body, keeping all the blessings safe and secure. Those who store and preserve these blessings, your Lord will increase them day by day. So they are recommended to do once in a week for some time. It is written in detail in this English booklet at the end. But you should also see that as though that you are here in England sitting or wherever in Pakistan or Saudi Arabia after the Hajj, but you are imagining all the journey and all the amal which you have been doing and which you have been, and inshallah replaying them in your heart and refreshing the blessings, and inshallah you will receive that even though you are actually here. And this meditation is recommended to perform, if you want, for about 10 minutes every Friday. 10 minutes every Friday when you come back, you do this amal. This will inshallah restore and keep the blessings and anwarat refresh in your mind and soul and heart, inshallah. Yes, कोई सवाल करना है तो कर लें, if not then it's up to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My question is, a person going on Hajj, if he has already done his own Hajj and he's doing a Hajj for relatives who have deceased, just need clarification on the Qurbani. Does he just do one Qurbani for the deceased person where he's doing the Hajj, and does he need to do another Qurbani for himself? Is that mandatory or not? And second point related to this, whilst the Hajj is on Hajj, can he carry out Qurbani for people who are in England alive or not? Jazakallah.
Bismillah. The answer to the first question is that if you are doing Hajj on behalf of someone, then according to the Hajj which you are doing, the Qurbani, for example, you are doing Hajj Tamattu, normally Qurbani is given, it is necessary in that, so you give that Qurbani, but that is only one Qurbani which because you've done all the Hajj on his behalf, then it's his Qurbani only. But if you are Sahib Nisab, meaning a wealthy person, which Qurbani is wajib upon you, then your personal Qurbani you will have to be done anyway, separately. That has nothing to do with the Hajj. And those people who are here and they want to give Qurbani there, like they can give anywhere in the world, they can give in Haramain Sharifain as well. There is no restriction upon them. Jazakallah.
Hazrat Sahib, I'd like to know, not just the Hajjis, but the people who are not going on Hajj. There's been mentioned teachings in regards to, for example, the 10 days of Zul Hijjah, which have lots of barakat and rewards are increased in them days. People who do not go Hajj, they shouldn't shave their hair, cut their nails. They should fast on the 9th day of Zul Hijjah. I'd like to know, do you know there's Qurbani that's been mentioned for them? In which way should they give this Qurbani? And can you just elaborate on some of these things that for the people not going Hajj in the days of Zul Hijjah, because we don't want to miss out on these blessings, and what to do in
people who are not going on Hajj, if they are giving Qurbani, then it is recommended for them also not to clip nails and or cut hair until they have given. It is recommended for them. It's not necessary for them, but it is recommended for them. The amal of Zul Hijjah, alhamdulillah, those days are the blessed days. It is, as in the hadith mentioned, that the nights of Zul Hijjah are like Shab-e Qadr. They have the reward like Shab-e Qadr. So no matter a person has gone to the Hajj or not, still there is great reward to be attained, and they are the best days, most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the entire year, the days of Dhul Hijjah. So the person should fast who have not gone there, and their one fast is like equal to the 1 year's fast. if they fast the nafal fasts in those days. And there are certain other amals, but the main amal which a person can do is these amals in a shorter version. They can also do the Medina Sharif amals and Makkah Sharif amals, which I have mentioned in this booklet, but maybe not for full, but one fourth of amals, spiritual amals of Medina Sharif and Makkah Sharif, which I mentioned. If you look at the screen, this is like amal of Medina Sharif. So let us say the other person is doing 3 hours or 4 hours, so you do for 1 hour, for example, and you also can get blessing while sitting here. Similarly, the amal of Makkah Sharif as well, you can do here whilst you are here, and you can receive those blessings here as well spiritually. So inshallah, yeah. And plus there are separate discourses on the fazilat of the amal of Dhul Hijjah, and also they are printed as well, so a person should get them and try to inshallah benefit themselves in those days. Jazakallah.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। शेख साहब ज़रा हमें यह समझाएं कि अगर बिलफर्ज मियाँ बीवी दोनों हज के लिए चले जाए और उनमें से कोई एक दौरान तवाफ़ या तवाफ़ यानी उम्रा या हज के अयाम के स्टार्ट होने के दौरान उनमें से कोई एक बीमार हो जाए या फौत हो जाए, तो उसके बाद दूसरा फ़र्ज जो उसके साथ गया हुआ है उसके उन दोनों के हज में मतलब ये कि किस तरह वो अदा करे, फिर वो हज कैसे उसको करना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए?
यानी कौन फौत हो जाए?
मियाँ बीवी जो दो साथ गए महरम है,
हाँ जी,
अगर उनमें से कोई एक फौत हो जाए या बीमार ऐसा बीमार हो जाए कि जो चल न सकता हो, जो वो अरकान अदा न कर सकते हो, तो क्या करना चाहिए फिर? हमें ये ज़रा समझाएं।
अगर कोई बंदा मियाँ बीवी गया है तो ऐसे होता है, बहुत दफ़ा होता है, वो जाते हैं तो एक मिसाल के तौर पर बीवी फौत हो गई किसी की, तो वो तो उन्होंने वहाँ दफन कर देना उसको, और वो अपने हज के अमाल अपने पूरे करते हैं। ये तो ऐसी बात है कि ये हर साल होती रहती है लोगों के साथ। कई लाख हाजी जाते हैं, उनमें कई मतलब सैकड़ों तकरीबन जो हैं वो मक्का शरीफ और मदीना शरीफ में रह जाते हैं। तो उनका ये है कि अगर वो अमल मिसाल तवाफ़ कर रहे थे या कोई वो ऐसी फौत की हो तो वो तो फिर दोहराना पड़ेगा, यानी जो वो कर रहे हैं, तो उम्रा है या वो छोड़ गया या उसकी हिफाजत के लिए। लेकिन वो तो क्योंकि जो लोग वहाँ वफ़ात पाते हैं वो उनको वहीं दफन किया जाता है, वो तो एक दिन अभी फौत हुआ शाम से पहले उसको दफन कर देंगे या इस तरह जल्दी हो। तो बीवी है वो भी आज अब चूँकि वो पहुँच गई है उधर, तो अब वो अपने अमाल हज के जो है वो उसी तरह अपने पूरी करेगी पूरे। और अगर वो माजूर या बीमार हो गया है तो फिर माजूर लोग भी जाते हैं हज पे और वहाँ करते हैं, उनके लिए फिर इंतज़ाम होता है, वो रेडी पे कर रहे हैं तवाफ़ और कोई रेडी पे कर रहे हैं, सही कर रहे हैं, इस तरह की चीज़। तो इल्ला ये कि अपना वो अगर फात पा गए हज से पहले और उन्होंने वसीयत कर दी मरने से पहले, क्योंकि हज का उनका इरादा था, तो उनकी तरफ से कोई बंदा वो अपना दूसरा किसी को भी वो कह सकते हैं, वो हज वहाँ का जो लोकल बंदा है वो अपना हज भी कर सकता है उनके लिए, और नफली उम्रा वगैरह वो खुद भी कर सकते हैं। जी जी। एनीथिंग एल्स? और कुछ सीधे कुछ पूछना है तो? इशा कितने बजे है नमाज? सी पौने 8। ठीक है जी, फिर जज़ाकल्लाह दुआ कर लें। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह रब्बिल आलमीन अर्रहमानिर रहीम मालिकि यौमिद्दीन अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि व सल्लिम व बारिक अला सय्यिदिना व नबिय्यिना व शफ़ीअना मुहम्मद व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन। Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, we are your sinful servants and very disobedient people who are not obedient as they should be. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, Ya Malika Yawmiddin, forgive our sins and shortcomings in your obedience, Ya Malika Yawmiddin. Enable us to offer these rites and worships of prayers and zakah and hajj as actually you like us to offer them. Enable us to learn them both physically and spiritual aspect, and with sincerity enable us to offer them, and then we hope in your acceptance by your mercy and grace. If you will accept, even our shortcomings will be overlooked, and if you don't accept, Ya Rabbal Alameen, then we are from the losers of this dunya and akhirah. Ya Arhamar Rahmin, O the most merciful, enable us to live a life of obedience, of your pleasure, following your beloved Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and enable us to die with faith and iman. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Grant us the goodness of this world and hereafter. Save us from the evils of this world and the punishment of the hell. Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Malik, and forgive ourselves, our parents, our relatives who have passed away, our ancestors up to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, and all the entire ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, including human being and jinnat, men and women and all. وصلى الله على النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه سلم تسليما آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. استغفر الله استغفر الله.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
My Lord, my sins are like the highest mountain. My good deeds are very few, they're like a small pebble. I turn to you, my heart full of shame, my eyes full of tears. Bestow your forgiveness and mercy upon me. Ya Allah, send your peace and blessings on the final prophet and his family and companions and those who follow him.